Hi everyone. This video is to give you a quick overview of changes made to the Insider Bars B inputs in uh, Update 69 of Insider Bars and the corresponding version of OFG Suite. What's going to be happening in the next month or so is that Insider Bars B is going to be incorporating all of the analysis techniques that are in Insider Bars, the original one. So basically, there'll be one indicator to use for everything in a couple of months, and that'll make it a lot easier for our folks rather than trying to decide which is which or what have you. So let's look quickly at what we've got here. The data tab has changed a little bit. In the last month or so, we added the source data options where you can choose 1 tick, 1 second, 1 minute data, depending on what your particular needs are on a chart. And that's pretty much the same. What has changed, however, is that now the raw data, auction point, trades, and bid ask is integrated together with it. So for instance, if I change this chart to 1 minute, 1 minute data is not compatible with auction point, so it automatically switches to raw data. Um, Likewise, if I have auction point here uh, and I switch to raw data, you can see combined ticks becomes available. But because combined ticks is not compatible with auction point, it's disabled once I click auction point. So basically it just makes it a little harder to goof something up, and hopefully that's going to make it a little easier to use. Another thing you'll notice is there are now these blue question marks on the side. These are links to little short blog posts about the particular topic at hand. So this will be another easy way to access information, particularly for new users who are just getting started. The other thing that's new here is there's a checkbox to open the input screen when the symbol or bar interval changes. And this is a time saver. If you are changing from one symbol to another or one time frame to another, and the settings for insider bars are going to change, or you want to change them, this prevents you from having to wait for insider bars to calculate at the settings you don't want and then having to recalculate it again at the settings you do want. So basically it gives you a chance to save the settings and change the settings before insider bars runs its calculations. So that's I've been using this for about a month now, and it's a very, very handy time saver. Uh, Bar stats have not changed very much. Again, the question marks for a lot of items. There's the way some things work is a little easier to follow. The things are disabled or enabled rather than hidden in a lot of cases. Um, there's not a whole lot new here. Insider objects, as we saw back on the data tab, the auction point raw data setting has now moved to the data tab. So if you get here and it tells you at the top whether it's auction point or raw data, or if you have raw data and say 10 ticks, it'll say raw data 10 ticks. And so you can see what the setting is here. And if you want to change it, click the change button here and it takes you back to the data tab. Right now there are no insider objects that are not auction point in Insider Bars B. In the next couple updates, that's going to be changed. You'll be getting all the same ones you get with Insider Bars. So all this is designed with the intent of the Insider Bars functionality being added as well. The VWAP value area VPOC tab has been kind of redesigned also. You can see that set 1 and set 2 are now both displayed. And the design of it all has been rearranged a little bit. One of the big functionality additions here is that now you have the option to get quarter or yearly VWAP, value area, standard deviation, volume point of control, etc. I'll show you some pictures of this in a minute, but the yearly ones are particularly interesting. The volume point of control has some additional controls now. You can now choose, I have this set to show the prior period only. You can choose none, current period, prior only, or both. So it gives you a little more control over what you see on your chart. Another thing that you'll notice here is that the prior color button is missing. I've simplified the color choices a lot, and so basically the way prior colors work for most cases is they're based on the color of the current bar, the current cycle. And if you want to differentiate these, you can set the transparency level, so you can have, say you have a well, let's just look at the value or the VWAP right here. You have bright orange for the current period, and then this is 50% orange for the previous level. So it's easy. I mean, you can tell because they're all straight lines, but it's also easy to see if the color is a little bit less bright. So and there's also a lot of stuff has changed in the background to get ready for the underlying price by volume display that's coming a little later this year. So a lot of the background shading things that we had previously weren't going to be compatible, so I kind of had to rearrange some of that. You can still shade the background for value area like you could before if you use this box. If you want just lines, uncheck the box, and you'll see now the value area works just like the other. I have black here, and I have 50% black here. So that is about what's going on there. I took out some of there aren't quite as many options in set 2. Some of the things really were not compatible with for instance, background shading with set 1 and set 2 together. So that was removed from set 2. The labels have been changed and simplified and made a little smaller, so they don't take up as much space. The labels for the value area VWAP. I use VWA instead of VWAP for just to save some space. So that's basically. I think most of this should be pretty self-explanatory once you get into it. And the shading colors for the two things that can be shaded are shown in the color box here. So instead of 2 color buttons, and everything has been incorporated into one now. And other settings, there's not much difference. I did add a checkbox to show settings on the status line. I found that with the data settings, tick, second, minute, and the number of combined ticks for stocks or what have you, it's nice to be able to see what it is. So what it will show you is whether it's tick, second, or minute data that you're using, and if it is combined ticks, then the number of ticks and the combined ticks is shown also. And then also the what settings you're using for VWAP, value area point of control. If you're using set 1 and set 2, both will show. So that's just a quick overview. If you got any questions, please don't hesitate to drop me a line. Thanks.